YouTube now supports thumbnails in multiple languages, and I partnered with Adobe Express because they make changing a YouTube thumbnails language easy and free. YouTube has really been focusing a lot on thumbnails. We recently got 4K thumbnails and now multiple language thumbnails. This is in addition to multiple language audio tracks where you can upload your own dubs or try auto dubbing, which lets your content be translated to multiple languages with the help of some AI. When it comes to multiple language thumbnails, this is from YouTube directly. For long-form videos, you can upload thumbnails in different languages. This is a powerful way to expand your global reach without creating and managing multiple separate channels. This is great because I learned when I attended KidScreen directly from a YouTube partner presentation that on YouTube, 80% of watch time comes from outside of the United States. That to me, and hopefully to you, is a reminder that YouTube is a truly global platform. This also means that not everyone watches in English. In fact, I'll show you how to see where in the world people are watching your content from later in this video. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering, how does multiple language thumbnails, descriptions, audio, etc. work for viewers? Well, YouTube says that the audio tracks will automatically default to the viewer's preferred language, which is determined by their watch history. Viewers can change their preferred language in their settings, and they can also switch between languages using video player settings. And then when it comes to the algorithm, or what YouTube calls its search and discovery system, they have this to say. Once your videos are translated, your videos can be found when viewers search using a translated video title and description. Our search systems look at these translated titles and descriptions to provide accurate results in the language they speak. YouTube is a global platform, and when we support multiple languages, whether it's through this, dubbing, or ideally both, we can reach a broader audience, entertain and educate more people, and we all win. So, to support your global audience, let's start by figuring out which countries watch our YouTube channels over in YouTube Studio on a computer. In YouTube Studio, select Analytics on the left-hand side. Then, once selected, we will click on Advanced Mode. Now, I know it might sound scary, but we got this, and it is pretty easy. On the top, click the drop-down menu and select Top Geographies in the last 28 days. Then, I'll look at the countries here and select some of my top countries for countries I'll translate my thumbnail in. I could also on the left-hand side look at the lifetime of my YouTube channel. If you don't have a lot of data, just give it time, and then translate or translate ahead of time and build the audience now. Based on my YouTube channel data, I'll select India, the Philippines, Brazil, Germany, and Indonesia to translate my YouTube thumbnail language into. And hey, fun fact, I actually speak a little bit of Indonesian. Hello, nama saya Andrew. Terima kasih untuk nonton YouTube saya. And hey, if this YouTube video is helpful or you learned something new, please consider subscribing. It really does help the YouTube channel out. Another thing is, I also want to grow my YouTube channel in Japan and Korea, so with all of these languages, let's translate them in Adobe Express. To make multi-language YouTube thumbnails in Adobe Express, you can open Adobe Express in a web browser, and it's got a completely free version that's easy to use. Create your first YouTube thumbnail either from scratch or using one of Adobe Express's templates. You can also upload a Photoshop file if you've already made one, and it can be brought into Adobe Express, and that's then made editable. I have already made the thumbnail for this example. Now, this is really important to note that Adobe Express does use Adobe fonts, and I'd recommend checking if the font you're using supports the languages you want to translate into. The font I used is on screen, and thankfully, it supports multiple languages. Once you create a YouTube thumbnail in one language, you can then use Adobe Express's Translate feature. You can select a file, then translate on the desktop. You can also get here by selecting the image, click Edit Page, and then on the left-hand side, just click Translate. Now, at the time of this video, it is only available on Adobe Express Desktop, but check the YouTube correction on screen for when it's available on Adobe Express for phones. Once you have selected Translate, select the language you want to translate to. Do keep in mind that the list has over 30 countries at the time of this video, with more being added, so be sure to check on it in the future too. As it says here, it does use AI, so be sure to check on your translations. Then, after a few seconds, you should have your translated thumbnails, but we're not done yet. You might need to make some minor tweaks to make your thumbnails look right, so go ahead and do that if needed. Once you're ready, click Download, and then select all pages, let it download, and then you have your translated YouTube thumbnails. And once you're ready, let's add them to YouTube. Head back to YouTube Studio on a computer. Start by going to the video you want to add multiple languages for. Select Languages. For the video you're watching now, I'll have the thumbnails and audio in different languages, and if you're watching in a language that isn't English, Please let me know if you saw the translated thumbnail in the comments down below. From here, find your language from the list. I do want you to keep in mind that YouTube shows there are differences between languages, and some countries have more than one national language too, so just try to be mindful. Click on Add once you've made changes to your YouTube thumbnails and anything else. If you want to see the differences on video, you can switch between them in the languages here.
변경할 수 있도록 해주기 때문입니다. 유튜브는 썸네일에 많은 노력을 기울이고 있습니다. 최근 4K
4K thumbnails. Now thanks to YouTube and Adobe Express, your YouTube videos can now be more global than ever in just the click of a button. They can also be 4K ready too, and you can learn more by checking out that video on screen. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can have multi-language YouTube thumbnails, then you can too. Thank you all so much for watching, and again, Adobe Express for sponsoring this video.